a small 2 days old ducks hides from a flying bird under mom's wings. There is no cognition or anything.
Yeah. True.
Even they probably don't even see properly.
Yeah.
Very deeply knowledgeable machine.
Yeah.
And especially the rate at which our brain is rapidly changing has enormous new faculties and connection and power is not the power that we think, but the power to empower itself to face the world that is has to be faced.
Yeah.
Remember
Forget the
you said
resilience of the
I
little
learned
kids.
from this newborn
Yes.
more than what I learned,
Yeah.
all the religious teaching
Yeah.
put together, seeing life,
Yeah.
how it is understanding things that I thought I know, I understand. That's
Seeing
the part
her.
of the evolutionary power of the brain. The more vulnerable the specimen is from the earlier stage, the more empathy and long-lasting, powerful effect on that particular specimen's every species that gives birth to.
Yes.
So-
Yes, I see.
You see,
Interesting.
the more
Because
vulnerable
child
the
is
baby
so can't walk.
can't do anything, can't
Yeah.
fetch anything.
Yeah.
So you will have an extended period of the similar sensation.
Yeah.
Even when they are walking, they are tilting, you will feel the jolt in your
Oh
stomach.
my God. Yeah.
Even though we don't have a certainty about our futures, but what happened is that the information that is there about the uncertainty and its negative interpretation already created a ready-made response to us. Like the information that I'm going to be hanged after a month is going to do a big number on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the information. For the system, it doesn't mean anything. But the information has already learnt itself to affect the entire system and prime it just the way the perception universe is. Like if you go further, you are going to eventually have to go in the forest where it is fire. So the way your body will be primed because of this perception, similarly, the idea of that also can charge the body with similar anxiety and uncertainty.
That's what
That's
it is.
it. The visual perception translated itself into an eventual danger and keeping the system ready is now shifted towards the information. The visual information and its translation is very similar process of information being translated into an action within itself. The anxiety, for example. Anxiety doesn't exist in our perceptive world. It's just the information.
Yeah.
So the information created also out of all the senses put together and brain processed. So it is the processing which gives power to all different information and its effectiveness. So when you see a child, your brain already has processed these things. When you fall, you hurt. You know these things, and it has not been processed there in their brain yet. So they're not aware, but you are already aware of such a situation. So you are having a preventive response.
And actually, one thing that often plays in my head that you said, sort of related to these things, that I want to ask you a question, which is, I think you said it about Yuji, you give the example in Balakroja, like you said after a certain amount of time, like your system didn't let you feel sad anymore.
That is true.
And maybe my body is having a different response that I'm not aware of, and maybe I can take the cue from that, that I'm reacting to something not happening, and my body is in this
Field.
in that field. One of my experiences when I start to do that is that the body has been overrun with the response of my mind. So I'm not surrendering to like the present moment where nothing is happening. I'm surrendering to the present moment, which is infected by my mind, actually.
That's the case mostly, and that is how it's called the continuity of overwhelming thought that runs our cognitive machine in a waking state, and it is now has that momentum. So, but that can change. That can change means the gradual empowerment of the needs and necessities of the system's well-being can gradually create a dominance in the brain by removing this spurious anxiety attack, because most of the time it's spurious, and it learns that it's spurious. You are apprehensive that it could be dangerous. You go, first time you touch, the brain cleared. Then you can grab it after some time. It's not. So the same way it learns how to remove that, because anxiety is a protective mechanism. So it's a competition. If you are not anxious of cutting yourself or falling from the great height, you may be in real danger. So these are all very primitive response in the brain as a protective mechanism for. So the chemical repertoire that it excites, the process through which it excites is very similar. So that's why this process, until it learns that it should not do this to the final chemical repertoire that will energize the body to act, it will have its response. And after some time, by the time it comes and reaches there, it has no effect. Like a shadow doesn't create that effect of a perceptive reality. Both are image only for human mind. For the human perception, one has a living quality, other has a almost equal quality of, that's the schizophrenia. So they can almost feel the same way with an imaginary object in their brain. Because the powerful. So gradually the cure of Alzheimer is that it gradually removes that spurious effect and not letting it reach to the chemical repertoire which responds to the system. So that can happen for all of us. As you are telling, the mental aspects which is overpowering the system is not letting the system enjoy the environment which is so addressing the well-being and congenial to itself, because it still kept it under the like surveillance mode. Through bits and pieces of thoughts that is popping up and down and remembering. One anxiety was there for some time, and then that's overpowered. Suddenly in this peaceful state you remember that. It's a flutter. Unbeknownst to myself, I tell this similar thing in a very different language, and it's like the because my central question about this thing was I was talking to Alan for some time, and that talk was recorded by them and sent it to this Rahul. So Rahul wrote that I heard the talk Symbiosis of Life. So she gave the name of the talk, Symbiosis of Life. The question you told for the thinkers can suffocate great minds of all centuries. Because I proposed a question. The reality of our knowledge, and why is it so unbearable when it comes to an individual specimen to accept that knowledge. It's as simple as this, that what I gathered from all the effort of the best minds, best philosopher, best everything put together with all our instruments and cognitive and mathematical and philosophical capacity, we found right now that at least we can quantify how much of the universe is unknown. And that is 96%. So, if I take a cue from there, I see the unknowability is so enormous. When it comes to my cognitive faculty and its disposition, the most distressing and disturbing thing is unknowability. The state of not knowing, as he is always trying to, is the most difficult thing in practical, in functional reality for human being to imbibe on itself. Why so? Why the knowledge can produce this anxiety, but the same knowledge cannot use as an antidote to remove that anxiety from us? And we don't address such questions to the general thinker, philosophers and the society, because the society is out there to project a future and construct accordingly. And see what happens. Two states as becoming one state, obliterating the other state. No plan works, no. We have seen all throughout history. And yet, we plan with all our power. And we don't allow the flexibility of a river that flows towards the ocean. You know? So that's why he says, I heard the talk symbiosis. The reason you told, the question that you proposed, can suffocate great minds of all centuries. How can that which is most beneficial to the body be so terrible to the mind? And instead of making mind-body arguments, it makes everything much more urgent to look at. So I said, glad you like it. They said, it is being at a standstill when your utterances are there. Everything reshuffles back into a simple nucleus, all the crazy edifice and misconception broken down to not knowing that cannot be cut further.
But that not knowing is like a physiological state.
Yeah.
But it's, I think, a physiological state that is frightening for the habitualized
for the
condition.
Because why we imagine and create future? Because in imagination we can. See, what we can, we are not going to stop its effect and its pleasures, its entertaining aspects, its comfort. The comfort of propositional thought that creates a thinker which seeks comfort. Because it's the thought, without the connectivity. See, if I am not thinking actively or passively, there is no connection. The entire existence of I is nothing but that connectivity. I cannot stand by itself, for itself. I has to connect to make a comfortable meaning. I am Micah's father. It is the connectivity. It's not bad or good, but you have to see the philosophical aspects. It's the connectivity.
It doesn't exist in a vacuum.
By itself.
But you can be on a desert island.
It doesn't
stuck
matter.
With it, yes.
It doesn't matter. You are as powerfully connected to the oil being of your child as you are sitting next room. You understand?
No, say this last part.
You can be as powerfully connected to that information from the other side of the globe as much as you are connected to the next room when you are sleeping with the little girl. Okay? Because it is inside you. It's not outside. It's the information that is created a state of disposition inside us. So the information, whether you are out there or here, it is in your head. It's not anywhere else. It's the knowledge. It's the connectivity. that created that kind of disposition inside, and that gradually overtaken in a sense that it's continuously perpetrating the waves of its jurisdictions, and in doing so it's created different states. And we have seen, if we can create a pleasurable state in our mind, a comfortable state where I can imagine myself being rewarded, it's comfortable. And when I go to the other end, it's uncomfortable. But what we don't ever try to pinpoint is it is always opposites. It's the pleasure, unpleasure, happiness, sorrow, pain, pleasure, it's all. But we never see that mind can be quietened with the disconnectivity and falling in a place where it cannot move, because unknown cannot be described. It is our anxiety that transforms unknown into an unpleasant situation. Uncertainty is creating a state of disposition by translating the uncertainty into a negative effect. So it is not that we are simply not trying to gravitate on this unknowability or the state of not knowing. We are always trying to make an image or idea, and including the shape and size of the gods, and everything is an extension of this uncertainty and giving a known idea about the unknown. We have created the entire mythical universe. But it has been known to these very aware philosophers and the mystics, and something that really happened and freed an individual from this anxiety is that it is unknown. Therefore, most of the scriptures, even those were actually dealt by the best thinkers at that time, the top philosophers. It's normal. If you have a society, you will try to gravitate towards a guy who understands better, who knows well, who speaks well, who understands well, who shows your empathy. It's natural. So everywhere it proliferated into that kind of people who ultimately created religion, scripture, everything. Nothing came from outside human brain. That is for sure. Even if it comes, he thinks it's coming from outside, but it is originated and visualized and continued by an individual or a collective brain. Yeah. Otherwise you cannot be contextualized at all. It has to be human language, human expression, human understanding. Yeah. It will have to generate final product in human brain. I'm not going there where it came from, but obviously it will have a touch of human. So without the human touch, there is nothing. I mean, even if there is so much in nothing, it will not find its expression among us without human intervention, or going through the human, you can call it channel or whatever, you can call whatever. But this much I know, that you can't read something from unknown without using your head. It is your head which reads things in whatever compartment it is. It has to express. If you don't say, I can imagine. In my imagination also I am using my brain all the time. So it is that created all these grand ideas by the human, and you will see the essence of the grand idea is started from Brahman to Allah to everything, and to at the top string theorists, particle physicists, everywhere. It is the unknowability and unknown. You say dark matter, dark energy, you just name it. Because why? Because you know nothing about it.
Yeah. It's the same thing as saying X in mathematics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know nothing about it. Now you try to see that what is the difference in why it is not working, why is your mathematics not working, or why is it that your physics is not working. So you attribute the part that you don't know is the reason for it's not working. But you don't know how it is affecting. You know, they are trying to quantify, and believe me, they are the best brain that universe can ever produce, as that can land inside the human brain. Real, genuinely, tremendously powerful thinker. I mean, their reasoning is just, to break their reason, you have to be smarter than them. And that's the ever competing factor. Who can discover the next prime number? like who will be the best computer hacker? You know how they function. We cannot even stand a small shed in front of them. Their brain is like a million miles an hour for running. But it's a human brain nonetheless, you know. So it's all there. But what I'm saying is that this thing is almost ubiquitous. And to less, I'm not degrading or anything. It is the human nature. If I have inherited the nature from my generations, that I would like to know that there is help. That
Health or help?
Health.
Help.
That can comfort me if I don't know there is help or not help. Simple answer of this question has created a practical solution to create deities. You know, because the one who does not reason anything, it is easy for them to visualize when they see something. And depending on that, it gets a respite. So it is not the question of deity that is important. It is the question of what happens to us as human when we try to interact with the ideas of a deity.
It's basically looking for a drug hit.
Yes.
That's it, because you're in a state of acute distress.
Yes.
You need some sort of
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is necessary. When you can die in pain unless somebody takes your pain away. You know, you can choke. So if the pain goes, you come back to the restfulness, the doctors can work on you. So these are all necessities. It's not completely out of context. Because of that necessities, the brain has also acquired what we call as placebo. It is its own capacity to heal itself, to comfort itself. It's one of the possible solutions that brain always wants to find out, to bring it an equilibrium, where in equilibrium is the restfulness. So, and in the restfulness, it is known the body gives its best fight. In the anxious condition, many of the neurotransmitters and the other healing chemicals that is present gets inhibited to discharge. So you are anxious, it produces, in absence of the happy chemicals, some cortisol or something, that gives even the cancer and the ulcers more chance to proliferate. You know, these are all known to biologists. So what's happening? This capacity to heal itself, or somebody can help to instate that by giving good solace words and things like that. It works. That's how the what you call is the therapy works for some reason. That's the one that it gives comfort. It makes you believe that certain things are possible, and you can repair yourself by listening to new information, by removing the anxiety and other information, by introducing the appropriate information that's congenially addressing your well-being and things like that. So
then you get hooked on it. Then you have a response. Seeking.
So there are many side effects of this. Philosophically, the first side effect is the one thing that you trusted, the trust never stops in one place. You begin to expand your trust. You trusted a deity, you feel consoled, and then you start praying the deity for your children's well-being, your desire fulfillment, your action, and it encompasses so much that it begins to lose its power that was healing you on your mind. So it's a conflict. Suppose, and also the investment. Suppose I, as a society, created a deity, and I made it a very sacred symbol of my existence, and some other society which was unknown to it created something like that, and now when they come to know that this system also is there, they will want to know what is better. They can't think about this. So to protect his, he wants to destroy mine. It's the nature, because I am threatened. But like if somebody takes away my God, I will be totally vulnerable. So I have to protect with all my power that which I thought is protecting me. See, these are the very fundamental...
Primal.
Same way, the pain pill can kill you.
Yes.
You know, when you get hooked to it, dependent on it, it is no longer addressing your well-being anymore.
It's an opiate.
Similarly, there is an extension of the placebo. Oh, I can heal myself. Ain't happening. You know, it's an idea. You may have seen by engaging yourself to as if you are healing, maybe you generated some positive thought and respite that the body could respond. Then you are trying to exercise your will to extend it. You are going to be drop dead. One day. So that's the reason. But what I feel is that if we gravitate towards, you see what is going on in the world, 90% of this are symbolic battle. And the reason for this battle started with this. Now it has come to ego. You know, nobody is caring about the Sabbath or the Allah. You know, now they're like, it has gone so far.
Yes.
You know, you cut my hand, I look at my child hand, I can't forgive you. I'm going to take it out. You know, you killed so many people, came and attacked us, and I'm going to kill you all. No mercy, no mercy. You didn't show any mercy. So now it has gone beyond. But if we understand the clear reasoning, and if it infiltrates, one of the important thing happens is also it gives accommodation. You know, we all made mistake. We are not, nobody is saint. Whatever we know, whatever we accept, whatever we believe is what we do. Later, when the civilization goes to a new phase and tell that what you did, part of it was a big mistake, and you're not accepting that as a mistake is stupidity. So we all came to the civilized world and we accepted certain things. You know, if I grew up in a world where I completely don't like a particular religion people, particular religious people, particular sect of people, and I responded accordingly. Now when I am here, I don't have this idea, but yes, you can tell I was racist, maybe unbeknownst to myself. That was the effect of my growing up. I was a helpless child. You know, my belief, my everything was this thing. I was, nobody can call themselves as by birth a saint who has no negative effect. They don't understand the way human evolves or how you become a human, your acceptance, rejections are
We
all
should make
depending on what you have
accommodation.
learned. Huh? It's time for give space to others. If we have that understanding that what we are doing is killing our children, not mine and
Mine
yours.
and not yours.
Nobody is safe forever. You know, this world is connected deeply. So if you really want to address the well-being of the future generation, it's the time to... So the understanding that you give too much accommodation to the religious authorities who says love thy neighbor, but they never show that way, because you love your God, not others. Not love thy neighbor. You want to convert your neighbor into your God, the belief in your God. So that has to be accommodated. Okay, you got comfort by thinking something. So has the other guy. You see the normal properties of the human, the interaction with the idea of a human, that doesn't make one idea better than the other ideas unless it is scientific ideas which works according to certain principles. Okay, that has a nature of functioning across the border, across without caste, creed, religion or any gender. It works the way the nature functions. You know, like we have 4 or 5 blood groups, that's it. That does not have any symbolism of where it came from, what kind of religious belief or rituals the blood is cleaned. No such thing, you know. If that gets accommodated into the human brain, and it's better, it's not scientific. Science is, whether you believe it or not, is the ultimate logical structure that we can in fact learn from our cognitive faculty, the way we function and the way nature functions. And when we discover this, that is science. What is science?